Breathe into this sacred moment. And allow the peace of meditation to fill you from head to toe. Notice any shift that has happened within you, in your mind, in your body, your spirit. Let yourself be happy and smile. As you prepare to begin your day, gather up this peace and intend to carry it with you, consciously carry it with you and spread it. Share it with others as you interact with them. Share it with others in consciousness by sending a bit of this peace out into the world beyond you. Feel that you can share this peace with people everywhere. Know that this peace will infuse your actions and your thoughts and your speech, and that you will be a beacon of light everywhere you go. Take a moment to send loving kindness to all people everywhere, those who are suffering. See them in their full spiritual radiance, supported, comforted, healed, whole. Know yourself to be supported, healed, and whole. Let's seal our time of meditation by chanting Om and sending a healing vibration to all points in the universe. May our thoughts be aligned with Dharma. May our speech be aligned with Dharma. May our heart and our actions be aligned with Dharma. And so it is. Om. Peace. Amen. We have the great blessing of studying together Chapter 3 in the Yoga Sutras, Vibhuti Pada, or the Pada on spiritual powers, or the accomplishments. I like that title, the accomplishments. Today I thought I'd offer you just an overview of the chapter, the theme, why we're studying it, where it falls into our ongoing study, and give you a chance to ask me questions or give me answers about how we'll go forward in our studies, okay? All right. So this chapter is, of course, a continuation of the study of the nature of consciousness and teachings on spiritual practice that leads to liberation of consciousness. So in the chapter prior, which was the chapter on spiritual practice or sadhana, it described the actions needed to have a spiritual practice, to meditate, to practice the yamas and niyamas, and all of the specifics of how to practice and what you might see as the results of that practice. Yes? In the chapter on sadhana, the first 5 limbs of the 8 limbs were discussed in the previous chapter, which were the yamas and the niyamas, asana or posture, pranayama, our breathing techniques or control or restraint of prana, pratyahara, concentration and withdrawal of the senses from flowing out. Yeah? And now we are beginning our study of dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, which together, those practices are called samyama. And what this is perfection of concentration. So I want you to think about your meditation practice as we discuss these 3 last interior limbs of the practice. They say that the 5 preceding are more outwardly focused, more actions to do, and then the last 3 are interior practices. So the focus, meditation, and samadhi. So we'll go more into detail about what each of these comprises, but I want to just continue with an overview of the chapter. So this chapter that we're about to embark upon is an exposition of the threefold practice of dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. And it will explain what those are, what they entail, and when they are perfectly practiced, what is possible. So what is possible is what the powers are, the siddhas or the, I'm laughing at my image, yes, what powers become possible. So these are spiritual powers that are the result of this perfection of focus or perfection of concentration or perfection of pulling the mind together to a single point and going beyond thinking mind into more of an intuitive nature. And not only does Patanjali explain what the results of your practice might reveal, he also offers a warning that if we have a seed, let's say a seed of karma that is unsprouted or that gets triggered as we are, as these powers are being revealed within us, there's a temptation or the possibility of abusing these powers. So that's the warning in this chapter. And one of the reasons why it's so important to let yogis know that these powers are a byproduct of intensive practice, so that you will expect them, won't be surprised when they are revealed, and know that there's a potential for our unresolved issues to grab hold of these and abuse them. You understand? Not just for yourself, but maybe, it could harm you or harm others. This is what they say about all of the practices when you reach the pinnacle of practice. All of these teachings are meant to help us to refine the chitta, or the mental field. And the purpose, the sole purpose, is for self and God realization. What happens to us with intensive practice is that we unleash all of our spiritual power. And it is intended for self-realization, God realization. That's where we want to keep going straight to the goal and not get sidetracked by these spiritual powers as we're living in this human existence. Okay, so I think you get that part. Oh, so intensive practice releases our full spiritual power. And some of us, will be really surprised by the amount of spiritual power that we have. And it's intended to be internalized, really, to give us power over our thinking mind and over our small self, not over others or over nature, but power over our small self, over our ego. Where was I? All right, about how we're going to study the spiritual texts. So I did send you a little bit about how I suggest you study, and so review that. And one thing that I want to say, additional to what I sent to you, is this chapter, even though it has a lot of information about, spiritual powers and things like that, the core of this chapter is samyama. The core of this chapter is the practice of concentration, meditation, and samadhi. And applying those three together as samyama to ... Applying it to whatever it is you want to know, whatever it is you want to study, whatever it is you want to have revealed within you, like that. So what I'm encouraging is that you do the bulk of your study is to read the sutras, contemplate the sutras, and meditate. Not necessarily, altogether, you know what I mean. But to meditate and to witness yourself in meditation. So to contemplate the process of samyama and to note your insights and your experiences. Okay? So, for example, this morning you had a time of meditation. Think about what that experience is like once you read the descriptions of dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, or concentration, meditation, and absorption, cognitive absorption. Then look back into your practice and just reflect upon each stage, how they work together. What does it mean to be in the stage of dharana? What does it mean to be attempting to focus? Right? What does it mean what does it feel like when you've reached a stage where you don't have to try anymore? even though that's often a very short time where you don't have to try to focus and your focus is just there, right? The meditation part. And what does it feel like when you suddenly find that you're feeling boundlessness, you're feeling completely absorbed in God or in your meditation, and you're not really seeing self there so much, you know what I mean? So I want you to contemplate that, witness it in your meditation, and just reflect upon it and make notes for yourself, and bring your reflections for our discussion in our next study session, okay? And if you can't make a study session, try to find a way to share with your sisters about where you are in your study. Some of us have a WordPress page for study where we share with the group. You can send an email. You can post in our private Facebook page. You can whatever you want, or maybe share it next time along with the study for the current week. Okay? Because I wanted to say something about samadhi. Not too many people do have sustained periods of samadhi. But one thing that the teachings have always said, and which I think that if you've ever touched into samadhi, even for a moment, about samadhi, is that it is timeless and has a major impact, even if it's just a blip. It is more than just a state of mind. It is a complete transformation of consciousness that remains, even if it's just for a moment. So, as you know, when you have a powerful meditation experience, one where you go very, very deep, it stays with you and stays with you. So imagine going even beyond that, how deeply touched your consciousness is by it. So that not only affects you in a way that is sustained, but it also makes a change in your consciousness that makes it more likely that you will reach that state again, which is why we aim for it and continually aim for it and enjoy the journey on the way. And meditation, the consciousness of meditation is no slouch either. It's a major transformation. That it's no small thing either. The stage of meditation before samadhi is very powerful and stays with you as well. So, we think of samadhi, yes, as the goal, and yes, it is, but everything before that is also a major event in consciousness. All right, so I look forward to this study with you, and don't be intimidated by the subject or the content. One thing that Roy Jean Davis, is known for saying is that everything that can be known and everything in existence and in the cosmos, he doesn't say it exactly like this, but can be known. All the resources that are needed to know whatever it is you want to know are within you, including what is needed to know yourself fully, the true self, and God is within you. So, thinking of those high goals, this study, I'd like to say everything you have to understand every component of this study and the practice is within you. Therefore, give yourself to it. And as we study along, intuition will support you, inner wisdom will support you, and you will be amazed at how much you've already experienced of these practices in your own meditation practice and spiritual practice. So, have fun. That's what I want to say this morning, and I'm sorry about the glitches in our video. I'd like to hear from you. Any questions you have about going forward in study, any comments you have.